Alright, in the video today we're going to go over an unboxing of a laser module that will go onto our Ender 3 3D printer. This will give us the ability to use our 3D printer to do laser etching and laser cutting. So let's go ahead and get started with the unboxing. This is the unit right here. This video is going to be kind of long, so just FYI, I will be putting chapters in. So if you want to skip ahead in different parts, you'll see little chapters. Just hover your mouse or whatever on the bottom of the video, and you'll be able to skip forward. So this is our laser module for the Creality 3D printer. This is the manual here that comes with it. A lot of Chinese in here. There's our list of what we can expect to see in the box. So let's verify that everything that's in the box is what's on the list. All right, a little bit of packaging material. You may end up using that later. Here is the laser unit right here. This is the, I don't know if we can see on here straight away. I believe this is the 5-watt unit. So there's our laser right there. Here's some, here's the control unit. This has a couple of different methods that you can use to communicate. You can see it has a USB-C. It has a slot for an SD card and the power right here. You have the on and off button. This is the interface. It's just a single button. We'll go over real quick. Eventually, we'll go over how that works, because you don't necessarily have to use a laptop to directly control it. You can actually put an SD card in there. You push the button once, and it does a framing. And then you push the button a second time, and it will start to engrave. Here's all the interface cables that are on here. You can see these are very nicely marked. They have the Y connector here that goes on the Y-axis. They have here's another Y-axis connector here. Here's the Z-axis connector. The Z-axis doesn't actually move in the Z, but it actually turns the laser on and off. And there's the X-axis. So we'll get to connecting all that up a little bit later in the video. This is a Class C or a Type C USB connector. This is the mounting bracket that will go on to our gantry. It slides in and bolts in. There's just one screw that holds it in place. You can see that right there. That'll be during the assembly. We'll go over that. Here's the power supply. This is the DC converter and a power cable to go to that. We have a surge protector back there. We'll be able to plug that in straight away. And this is the assembly tools. You have an Allen wrench, some wire management, a little zip tie, and an SD reader. So you can, with a little memory card in there, so you can transfer files back and forth from your computer and whatnot. Over here, very vital, some safety glasses. These are very stylish. The idea behind these is that there's going to be a lot of possibility of blinding yourself if you don't manage the safety with the laser. The laser does have a shield that you can set close to the printed material, but while you're setting it up, you always want to use these glasses to make sure that you don't hurt yourself. These glasses are oversized, so you can wear glasses under the glasses if you have a pair of reading glasses or seeing eye glasses that you use. These you can wear these over the top of those. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started on the assembly here. I'm going to go ahead and move this box off. This is my 3D printing workstation. This used to be my welding bench before I moved my welding set onto my old engine stand. I got a really nice video on how I converted my welding station on the engine stand. But now this has been dedicated to 3D printing, and you see I've been busy 3D printing these wiring looms. these wiring looms are part of a side project that I've started. I'm printing these out in support of families who have children who need life-saving surgeries. I'll put a link to my eBay on that. This is not my own design. This wiring loom design was I found this on Thingiverse. Credit to P2K, the user P2K, who I found these on there, and I printed one of these out for myself, and I did a neat little video about 3D printing, about how you can find all kinds of stuff online for the MGB. Well, a couple of my followers on the YouTube had asked me to print one of some of these out for them, and so I've been able to do that. And I haven't really been selling them. It's just, reimbursement for shipping. But since there was so much demand for them, I went ahead and put these on my eBay site, and I'm selling them for $5. But actually, what you're buying is the painting. They're being sold as a hand-painted 3D printed wiring loom, and I'm not making any profit off of these. $4 for every $5 item is going to that charity that I mentioned. If you want some more information about that, I'll put a link on the description for that. But again, this is not a for-profit deal. This is to help families of children who need life-saving surgeries. So anyway, this is my 3D printer. You can see I've got a shield around it. The idea behind this is that when you're printing ABS, you want to manage the temperature, and so you want the whole area where you're printing to stay warm. And this is my solution for that. They actually sell like shields that you can put around your 3D printer for ABS printing. I like to see what's going on in there, so I just took a single sheet of plexiglass and melted it. Got it hot with my heat gun, bent it into shape, and then I made some shrouds to go around the unit here. So let's go ahead and take all this apart and get the printer ready for mounting the laser. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the X-axis controller and limiting switch. The controller's down here. You can see that right, where am I at? Right there. All right, and you can see these are clearly marked as an X. They have a little X on them. So we're going to pull these off and leave the extruder on, so that'll kind of suspend this. You don't have to worry about it going anywhere. And then we're going to come over here and do the same thing for the Y-axis, which is down here. Here's the little connector for that. That's for the limiting switch, and then the motor right over here. All right. So those are now giving up the control of the X and Y axis. That's going to give us the up and down, left and right control. The left and right being this gantry, and the back and forth being the slide right here. And now we're going to go ahead and connect that. You can see on the instructions here, we're going to connect the X and Y axis from this new controller on that. Now, here's the thing. You're going to have some cable management to deal with, so just make sure that you're not making any future problems here. So these wires, you need to manage those because they're going to be, floating around. I already have a little wire management that I use to keep things suspended over here. This one's not going to really be a problem. I don't think it's kind of out of the way. But we need to figure out where we're going to put this control unit for our normal operation. I'm thinking I'll just kind of have it right here, but we're going to figure that out first. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect these up. All right, so here you can see I've got the X and Y axis reconnected. It comes with these little extender cables, which is really helpful. You can see this one here goes up into the motor unit, and this is the limiter right here, limiting switch. They come with these little extenders. They have the extenders for both the X and the Y axis. These extenders, when you get them, it's one one set of cables, but you can actually pull them apart because on this y-axis, for instance, it's a little confusing. You can't really get from here to there with just the one connector. So that one you definitely need to pull apart, but just need to make sure you route these wires so that they don't get involved with anything that's moving. This is a moving component right here. You don't want it rubbing on that. So we're going to work on some wire management. And all right, so the next step here is to install the gantry mounting unit. So let's get this installed. You just need to raise your z-axis up. This you don't want to hurt anything. I'm just going to pull it up, and we'll get to that point. All right, so I found it necessary to loosen the fan shroud on the nozzle here in order to get room, because there's a wire right here, and there's some other things that are making it difficult for it to fit. So basically, you want to just get the little hooky part to go under that little axle, and then you got to get the screw to slide back behind that little sheath. Once you get everything lined up, it'll look something like that. You can see it behind the axle. This right here goes behind all that right there, and you'll see where the screw lines up right there. Just need to tighten that screw, this screw right here, and then that'll be in place. All right, there you go. If you got it installed right, you should have this thing vertically oriented. It'll be all lined up in here. If you get the screw off a little bit, this will be canted and you won't be able to close everything up. But if you get it in the right place, then you'll have it all lined up and it'll be nice and firm. You can see that is not moving anywhere. All right, let me get a good shot of the back where you can see where the screw is connected. All right, for the next step here, we're going to put this laser module on. You can see how this little bracket will fit right into these little slots right here. You can see the slots. So all you need to do is line it up, give it a slide, and give me a little bit of a jiggle here and there, but you want to get it to seat. And then you're just going to tighten up these thumb screws once you get it all the way to the top. And don't forget to put the Z into the laser module when you're connecting that. All right, so this next little piece of the manual here discusses different options depending on your extruder. And like I showed with mine, you did need to remove the fan module so you can get it in place. All right, so before we get on to the next thing here, we're gonna go over the cable management. We're gonna make sure that none of these cables are gonna rub on any of the moving parts, and just gonna take care of cable management. So when I cut back in here, we're gonna have all the cable management all managed, and we're gonna put together a surface that is not laser penetrable. And in this case, I just have a piece of 16 gauge steel that I had from some of my car projects, and this is going to be my my sacrificial surface. This will protect the aluminum plate that's down here on the unit, and this should be. This is only a 5-watt laser, so it shouldn't be able to cut through this. And so this will be the surface that I'm going to use. There's a lot of them out there. If you're looking for something that's laser impenetrable, I'll put a list in the description here. Different things that you can use that will prevent you from damaging your plate here. Obviously, you don't want to leave your plastic plate on there. In my case, I use a glass plate because it'll etch that. And you don't want to put a mirror or anything on here that's too shiny, because then it'll reflect and it will become a hazard. So that's what I'm using, a piece of 16 gauge metal as my laser impenetrable surface. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do some cable management, and we'll cut back in when I get to the software. Okay, so I've kind of jumped ahead a little bit right here, so I'm going to get you all caught up with where we're at. Okay, so once you get all your hardware all set up on here, you got your cables all connected, your cable management is handled so you don't have anything running over anything, no snagging or anything. You want to set your controller device up, plug it into the power source, and then connect a USB cable to your laptop. When you get all this set up, the only thing that you have that might suggest that there's some software is the little thumb drive that comes with the unit. So when you put that thumb drive in, there's actually no software on it. It's just text files and PDF files, a couple of G-code files if you want to do some samples. So what do, right? How are you gonna interface with this? So in this number 4 file gives you 5 little folders in that little thumb drive. Number 4 says software, and when you click on that, there's no software in there, just a couple of PDF files. But on one of those is a link to a software called Lightburn. Lightburn, when you go download and install the Lightburn software, make sure, like I said, you have your USB connected and your power unit on, and it will detect what type of laser that you have, and that's what I've got going on here. It also gives you the ability to name it. So you can. I've named mine the Creality Falcon 5 watt, because that's what I've got here is a 5 watt laser. So this software is pretty easy. It's basically just a bitmap editor. It's not that hard to play with. There's a lot of options and stuff. I'm not going to get all into that. That would take a whole nother video. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it takes to get this thing to print and you know, get your first output out of it. Like I said before, early on, you have to have a laser protective shield on your plate, and I've got this piece of 16 gauge steel on here. I've got my target piece. This is actually a piece of hardwood. I want to, in this test I'm going to test to see at the highest level, at the slowest speed, how well I can cut into hardwood with a 5 watt laser. So we're going to test that on this go. But so you start up your software, you do your detection, so it knows what kind of laser it is. You'll see it'll connect on COM5 or whatever with your USB port. So then you want to come over here. It gives you a grid. It'll ask you to confirm the print area, and I just took a ruler and confirmed that it was 230 millimeters square, and so that gives you a bounding square, and this is your actual printable area. And it gives you a really good visual of where exactly this laser is going to do its lasing. So what I've got here is a PNG file. This is from my 60th birthday. It was a logo that we put on some coffee cups. And this is just a PNG file. And I loaded it up, and it loads it up just fine. You can see that there's actually a gray color on the inside that's actually red, but it's gray in this perspective, and everything else is black. Those will be 100% print, and the gray will give it a kind of an off measurement, so it'll look a little grayer. So you want to lay it out so that you know about where it's going to print. Now you're going to come over here to the laser, and on the side of the laser there's a little thing where you can slide it down. And that's for focusing the laser. That is where you set the distance where the laser is off of the print material. And you just flip it back up once you've verified that you have the right distance. That's just for measuring that distance between the laser and the material. So the next thing you want to do is you want to figure out, confirm where it is that it's going to go. So if you click this little button right here, you want to frame. And that'll tell the laser to draw, just moving like a visual square around, so you can tell this is where it's going to go. And you can take an idea. It just helps you to confirm that that's where it's going to print, right? And then right now I can just hit start, but I don't want to do that straight away. I want to come up here to the cuts in layers. You see right here, cuts in layers right here, and you want to set the speed and the power. You double click on that, you'll be able to set the speed. And I'm going to set this to, let's say, 1000. And the power, I'm going to set to 100%. Okay? That will get me a pretty slow print at a very high depth. And you can see this is hardwood, so it's not like basswood or anything. It's going to take a lot just to burn into that anyway. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Now I've verified the depth. I've got my device talking to my printer. Everything is responding. Now I can go ahead and hit start. And you'll see it start to do its thing. Now is a good time to have your glasses on. I'll go ahead and get a close-up from here so you can see what that looks like. You see how the laser increases and decreases in intensity as it goes to different parts of the job that are darker or lighter. And we're just going to let that run for a while and come back after a while and see what it looks like. There is a little bit of smoke, so do you want to do this in the house? This is out in my garage here, so it's not going to be that big a deal. But you don't want to be doing this in the house. You probably set off the alarm. All right, we'll come back in a few minutes after this is done and do a recap. So while you're printing, it gives you an estimate of how long it's been printing and how long it has left to print. And there's a lot of feedback that you can get back on this, but it's really helpful to know, how much longer you have to go. Here you can see a little bit of progress. Clicking along, quite literally. Okay, well, we're going to check back again in about, 27 minutes. Well, there you have it. You can see with the hardwood, it actually left a lot of material behind, but it did actually, you can feel it. It's nice and deep. I think what I'm going to do is take a wire brush and sand this a little. We'll see if we can get the depth out of it. But I think that is mission accomplished. 5-watt laser cutting hardwood with a laptop on the workbench using nothing but an Ender 3. So, have any questions on this? I think maybe I'll do a follow-up video on some of the software. Maybe not. It's a whole nother topic, and I don't want to get too deep into it. But this unboxing is all about, yes, you can use a 5-watt laser on your Ender printer, and it's really very easy to do. If you have any questions at all, throw them in the comments. I like to answer my questions all the time. And if you haven't already done so, please do subscribe.